Now, back on live. Facebook sucks, so we're going to have to start this all over again. So after my 5 minutes of ranting, those that were already watching, sit tight, we'll get back to where we were. So we're talking today about yo-yo dieting, why you can lose weight on a low caloric intake, a low calorie diet, drop weight, and then 6 months, 8 months later, whatever it is, you'll put the weight back on, plus probably about 8%. So I'm going to start from scratch. So we're saying about if you can lose weight quickly, more than likely then you can actually lose weight correctly and sustainably also. If what happens with most people is, if we're going on a scale here of 0 to 100, so 0 is death and 100 is absolute perfection. Most of us want to try live up around here, 80 to 90% on a perfection scale. So 80 to 90% still allows us to go out for our dinners, to go to weddings, to eat a bit of junk, as long as 80-90% of the time we're eating well, we're sleeping good, we have low stress, we're pretty much enjoying life and living our life. But what happens to most people, so if you're overweight, bad nutrition, bad sleep, highly stressed, you're probably living down here somewhere, like about on the 30 mark, but what happens is when you're trying to jump from here closer towards death up to 80 to 90%, yeah, it can be done. Yeah, you can lose weight quickly, but what happens afterwards? So if you're going on a Atkins diet, a cabbage soup diet, a cert food diet, any sort of fad diet as such, we can get you up here. We can get you to lose weight quickly. You do 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Drop 1 stone, 2 stone, 3 stone, depending on your own body composition. You can lose a ridiculous amount of weight sometimes. But what happens after? If all you know is here, if you've been living here for years, well then that's the only thing you're going to fall back on after 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is. So what most people miss out on then is that how do you get from here to here, but sustainably, so you can keep the weight off. So this is where education comes in. This is where actually for your own reading comes in. You can't just put it all on the likes of me or other fitness and fitness professionals. You have to actually take accountability yourself. So what happens here then is you're sorry, I keep getting a low connection. That's why we got cut off the last time. So what happens here is, we need to get you from here up to here and permanently stay up here. So how we do that is we develop habits. You have to take things slowly. There's loads of truths to the whole old wives' tale about losing a pound a week. Pound a week is sustainable within our bodies in loads of ways that we're not going to bother going into today, but also because of habits, because habits have to develop slowly. So when when you want to, let's take New Year's resolutions, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to, eat right, I'm going to train 3 times a week, I'm going to bed early, I'm going to give up the beer, and 2 weeks later, this all goes to crap. Sorry, ma'am. Mammy Kenny was moaning at me last video about cursing, so we're trying really hard not to. So we need to develop habits slowly. So week 1 we look at things like do you eat breakfast? Great. Well, let's look at your breakfast. Week 2 we look at lunch. We look at snacks. We have to look at your macros, your micros. So your macros are your carbs, fats, your proteins. Your micros are going to be all your vitamins and minerals. We have to address your sleep. This stuff takes time. You can't change overnight. Yes, you can lose a ton of weight in a month or 2 months, but can you maintain it? No, because you haven't developed the habits to keep it in place. Tony Buzan describes it great, as in your habits are I've only one hand at the moment. Your habits are huge. Everything you do, whether they're good or bad, everything you do at the moment are really big, well-developed habits. But your new habit of trying to lose weight and all is tiny. So you have to nurture your habit. You have to let it grow. And the more time you spend nurturing this, you're going to take away from the big habit over here, and that will eventually shrink down. So this is why when you're trying to jump from your current lifestyle here up to here, as soon as this stops, because you can't live off cabbage soup forever. You're not going to live off fucking boiled chicken and broccoli forever. But so when you crash and come off it, the only thing is this. So, you know, when I take clients, I train them, we get them to develop habits, we educate them in food, we get them to a certain level. And then, yeah, if they have a wedding come up, if they have holidays come up, yeah, we can do a little bit of a cheeky, you know, quick weight loss thing. But when we have you, you know, up at like 70%, and I'm gonna get the screen. When we have you up here, you know, and you do a quick little jump to here, the fall back is a hell of a lot less, you know. Whereas like if you're trying to do it rapidly from here all the way up, the fall back is always going to be greater. And you know, you're only falling back on the habits that got you where you are in the first place. So so bear that in mind. You know, forget about any sort of stuff you read about like fad diets or you know, this is the next whatever diet or superfood or pills. If any of this stuff actually worked, there'd only be, you know, one thing, and we'd all be doing it. You know, so so take your time over the next God knows how long. I'm going to plan on doing more videos on things like habits. We'll be talking about doing videos on carbs, fats, proteins. We'll be talking about training, weightlifting. So anything you want to know, you know, put it in the comments, and we can do a video on it. So in the meantime, you know, start educating yourself, start reading up on just changing your general food. We might do the next video we might do is, you know, maybe 5 or 6 points on where to start when changing your diet. Okay, thanks for joining me.